Doom is, at its roots, an old school game. That's also the part of its appeal. This game is not new, but it looks new. The graphics on the PS4 are stable and sharp, and in all my years of playing games, it is starting to become quite clear that we do not have far to go in terms of graphic fidelity. This is a 10-year-old game, and the last criticism I would ever give it is it needs to look better. I believe the PS4 is in the Goldilocks zone in terms of price and ability. Because of the type of game Doom is, the areas do not need to be big either. What type of game is this? Well, it's a level progression game. At its foundation, you are just going from level to level, where we have a game loop within each level that slowly expands. The level should get harder and harder as it goes, but this might not be the case. It should be, but it might not be. However, like most games, this is actually a hybrid, featuring RPG elements, upgrading yourself and your guns. This can be problematic for difficulty and the design. So the levels cannot be ultra linear in their difficulty because the player could make all the wrong decisions. Upgrades like this game features were never in the original Doom. But players really expect this type of thing now. It has to be mandatory. It would take a brave developer of a AAA endeavour to not do this. In the older games, the upgrades were more to do with just getting a better weapon, and would be left at that. At the time, that felt like a big enough reward on its own. So the foundation is progressing from closed system to closed system, but in a Doom-like style or theme. This is the franchise where Doom-like was born, where it is a corridor shooter in a maze where the player has to find keys and progress going left to right, up and down, and if you're anything like me, going around and around and around. Another thing is the speed of the game. It is fast, aggressive, and gory, a power fantasy. Those are the other elements that make a Doom-like. To be a Doom-like, I also believe it's important for the protagonist to be silent. You are the one having the power fantasy, and the game loop has to somewhat be gamey as well. The game rhythm also needs to have that feel of its own. Now the idea of my channel is to assess the design of the game. I am getting old and I am not as good at games as I used to be. If you have watched any of my other videos, you will know that I do struggle quite a bit. Kinda hate it when they die because I need their health. The thing with Doom-likes are they should be played on the harder difficulties for you to get the true idea of what the game is actually like. I cannot get away with any sort of judgment playing through on easy. I'll have to earn it. It's a relationship that will take some time to form. Yes, multiple playthroughs are essential. Some games are like this and some are not. The mode I'm going to be focusing on is Ultra Violence, which is hard or very hard. I'm sure the violence level ends up being the same, but we will see. My idea is I will play on the hard difficulty until I hit a slight wall. At that point, I will drop it down to an easy setting and I will take the time to learn. Then I will make a reattempt from the start. What the hell? How did I die? Then and only then will I be able to really reveal the structure of the game, and is it good, and why. This is a design video, but it includes my journey and how I came to my conclusions. I can't say I like this main title screen. Just a whole bunch of advertising, and it doesn't really set the mood for the game. It's a small detail, sure, but I like to have a title screen that tries to impress me, or creates the feel. Good thing I have the box art in front of me. I can just look at that instead. May physical games never die. I'm just trying to figure out these difficulty levels. It looks like we'll be playing on Ultra Violence, which looks like hard mode or maybe very hard. The Nightmare mode is written in red, so I will ignore that one. Ultra Nightmare is a one-shot permadeath mode. I don't think I'm going to ever be attempting that one. The game starts with me lying in a concrete coffin, a gory display of me killing my doctor, and then we are playing. I'm just wondering, if I chose not to play on this ultra violence mode, would this have been this graphic? I was expecting the cutscene to go longer. Before you know it, I am dead because the game had started. My character looks at his handgun and oh my god, it looks awesome. And I am looking around this room to see what I can collect. Looks like I'm somewhat of a god, as I have people praying to my coffin and a woman saying that I need containing.
We have to contain this.
I'm definitely not a stranger to women saying this thing about me. Further on, I get a cool helmet and this voice who sounds like Optimus Prime from the G1 series.
I'm Dr. Samuel Hayden. I'm the head of this facility.
He is trying to give me orders or recommendations. My character acts in defiance, as gods do not take orders. I am quickly killing all of these zombies with ease, further enforcing that I am a god thesis. The game is very gory, there is blood everywhere, the ripping off organic bits and pieces and cadavers bursting into parts. Blood all over the ground. The very first arena in this game is extremely full on, and I survive it just on adrenaline alone. This chick Trudy doesn't want me to leave. She doesn't want me to be a part of things.
We cannot be allowed to leave this place.
She reminds me of my ex-wife. The intro is badass, and it makes up for the lackluster main menu. I love the actions of my character. He is a no-nonsense kind of guy. I just love the way the game transitions right here. They have done a great job making this outside area very atmospheric, and it looks like I truly am in hell, when in fact I am actually on Mars. Seem things might not have gone to plan, and it might have just all happened recently. Second arena now, and yes, I will call the areas with the mass battles arenas. They are exactly that. The tricky bit for a game like this is to not let the player think that they are playing in arenas. Cool man, this game is full on, but I am feeling quite sharp today. One extremely impressive thing is how well the game runs. This is a solid frame rate here. It also looks to be in 60 frames. I love the motion blur in the game. Makes it very cinematic, like it's following the 180 degree rule. Basically, for those who don't know, the 180 degree rule is when motion is conveyed realistically to how the human eye perceives it. The sense of speed feels faithful, and it is also the benefit of the game because you can do things behind the scenes to make it all run smoother, like texture swapping and resolution tricks. The introduction of the colored keycards to access doors of the same color. This is one of the main things I remember from playing the first games. Go here, find a color, now go here, find this color, etc. It's easy to keep track of simple color system. I find it easier than the more elaborate names or phrases that games can use, like go find the janitor's key. I think because they all talk so damn much in games nowadays that I just start to daydream like I am in school. Speaking of the old game, look, I have this physical version from way back, I don't know, early 2000s or late 90s. I remember playing these Doom games when I was younger. But that's about it. I do not remember any specific details. I would have been maybe a teen at the time, so yeah, it was forever ago. Now I will say I am dying a lot, a fair bit. It's not too bad, but is this one of those games that gets harder or easier? I like games that start off easy and get harder. This game is starting off hard, maybe it gets harder. If we look at games within the last 20 years, you will notice that they all have mandatory upgrade systems. These upgrade systems always had management, which is nice. It makes you feel like you have options and you are making decisions. And you are. But the problem with that is we now need a fudge factor, a gap to squeeze into so that the game is completable. The player could make all the wrong decisions and the player could back themselves into a corner. So these types of games tend to start off harder than they end. There are plenty of games that handle this well and there are plenty that don't. Which side is Doom 2016 on? Explosions seem to be my worst enemy. It always baffles me as to why these companies put highly explosive drums everywhere. There are so many enemies and particles, I have no idea how this game is running this fast, especially on the PS4. The character runs around like he is a kangaroo attached to a drone, and I love the glory kills and how they do this position snap towards the target at light speed. The warping portrays the ultra-violence that I set the game at. I really like the way the weapons don't reload. I keep pressing square all the time. It's a habit I have developed playing these first-person shooters. It is not needed here, and I really like not having to even think about it. Also, the character is fast. That's the default. I do not need to click a button or tap one to move at a stimulating pace. Going back to typical FPS might be a challenge now.
Oh, fuck! A freak!
The music is intense and well crafted. The ambient music is a nice blend of soft and heavy guitars.
All entrances non-operational.
The sound effects give the game punch, and they are constant. Getting past battle arenas and into the calmer hallways is nice. The game isn't all full noise. It has a very wide dynamic range and is best experienced through some large speakers. The game will tell you when you have reached a checkpoint, and it feels like a genuine celebration. A huge relief. I managed to complete the first level, but I do not know how long I can last on this hard difficulty. It's taken me a long time to progress currently and is quite fatiguing. The sounds these zombies make paired with the ambient music is really keeping me on edge. I feel nervous. It's reminding me of Dead Space. It feels good to open this window, let the light in. That woman from the start makes another appearance. She seems to be a part of a coup, probably why this place has gone to wreck and ruin. I'm not really sure who she is talking to.
It's all true. My sisters and brothers be thankful.
All these games are somewhat the same. There's always a rock with writing on it or some political figure causing everyone to turn weird, and they all become cult-like and start lighting candles and such. It was like that on BioShock, it's like that on this, and probably some other things as well. Yeah, Dead Space. I received this chainsaw, and the first thing I think about is, why? I don't see any trees. The area after the chainsaw is difficult. It is where we need to use the chainsaw, I guess, but it always just moving so fast. I cannot think. I managed to get past it a few times, but only to be run over by this weird train, and the checkpoint takes me back to before the battle. I can't figure out where to go for some reason, and I have to keep doing this difficult battle. Fatigue starts to set in and I start failing more often. I have been playing for hours, but in reality I have not come far at all. So I'm starting to think at this rate it's going to take too long to complete. That's if I can complete it on this difficulty anyway, because it isn't feeling like it right now. What? What the hell? How did I die? No feedback. What's happening? Was I getting hit? Was I getting hit when I was using the chainsaw? I'll have to review the footage there. Get the chainsaw. Okay, I've got the chainsaw. Oh, there's a drill. That's a Ryobi drill. And it looks like it's got one of the older style batteries. So low ammo. And this gun is rubbish. And I just fucking got hit by a train. Jesus Christ, there's my head. Death after death, and yes, it's clear I'm out of my depth. You know when you are here, when you start telling yourself the game is faulty, and it has been made not well. Yeah, that's the stage I'm at. Developers don't know what they're doing. This engine is not working well. Where was this game made? Mexico? It's just like that. But then you have to reflect on all your maturity you have at that moment and say, I just have to train more. And training should always be done lightly. In whatever I do in life, I always train most of my volume at around 60% effort. That's 60% of the effort required to complete the main task. And this is because hard training will ruin your mind and your body. It will eventually put the graph in decline. Training helps build momentum, and it is a phenomenon that I don't fully understand, but it is evident in everything. Failing too much, too often will fundamentally change your perception of things, and as a defense mechanism, you will become negative towards the activity in order to move away from it with conviction. Repeat this enough and you will find yourself ducking out of activities earlier and earlier until you stop attempting them altogether. This is just life, not just gaming. Yes, we are fragile beings. We are not designed to handle failure. So is this game well designed? I have no idea. The game can be like rolling a dice right now. You can have an instant death at any stage, in any battle, and there was really nothing you could have done about it. Or is there? Am I not just reading the room properly? I do find the game hard to read. I find it hard to measure. And it's not as though I lack experience. So let's drop the difficulty and grind. Let's just go through the motions and let's reattempt this hard mode later. Time to get some revenge on this area. Things are still chaotic, but the hits become like being tapped on the back of the shoulder. The game has lost its intensity. It's probably at risk of becoming a little boring. I could have dropped the difficulty by 1, but I think the goal is to beat it on hard, and I just want to get one playthrough completed. The enemies move a lot slower. They telegraph everything more clearly. So I guess the question becomes, will training work if everything moves slower? And the answer is yes. Yes, it will, I hope. These double jump boots are revealed in the Argent Towers. The character you control is now getting a lot of tools, and the game throws many upgrades and mods at me I can barely keep up. I will not even worry about them because I am on easy, and I will just push on. Further on into the game, I can see that those enemies that were giving me so much trouble at the start are now becoming cannon fodder as I mow through them, and it's the big guys giving me any real resistance. But nothing is hard. My deaths come mainly from falling. The game is becoming more addictive and I just want to keep playing. I am forming a relationship with it somewhat, and I am anticipating the more difficult difficulty. After this weird laser puzzle thing, I now have the BFG 9000. It's similar to the chainsaw. It's like a special card you can use to get a predictable outcome. It is a weapon you do not really have to aim. It devours a room of enemies. It wipes the slate clean, and to whatever it doesn't kill, it greatly hurts. It's great to use, but you will not get to use it often. Ammo pickups are limited. I really like that. The panic button. Or on easy mode, I'd probably call it the speed up button. I have really been rushing through the game. It's the kind of game that encourages it. One thing that really sticks out about Doom is how telegraphed it is. Enemies all clearly display what they are about to do, whether it's attacking or damage staging. Good game design is always telegraphed. It's a language that you have to learn, and it rewards the observant. On hard mode, you just have to be a faster reader. It's that speed that stimulates the brain. Games like this increase your brain's capacity and processing power. I believe games like Doom, paired with a physical training routine, would make a fantastic athlete. The game on easy is fairly uneventful. Like I said, most of my deaths come from falling. The battles get intense to the point where I'm thinking, how am I going to do this later on? How am I going to manage this? I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. I get to the end without any real issues. I have been having this weird audio glitch throughout the game where the boss levels are not working as they should. There are not too many bosses in the game. The last boss is a spider thing. It's quite common to get to the end of a game and think, what is this creature I am fighting? What does it have to do with anything? I thought I would be fighting the devil or something. The game has a story which is about as detailed as Dead Space's, and feels almost as good. It's definitely similar in feel. The game does not weigh the player down with lengthy storytelling. It allows the game loop to be king. However, when the story is happening, it will make you watch, generally. You don't mind so much because at that stage you just need a rest anyway. I can't say I really knew what was going on in the game. I'll rectify that next, of course.
They will not allow access to the well without a fight. But I'm sure that's what you're looking for, isn't it?
The graphics are solid. This is a simple game, but it runs very well. You can tell there is less abstraction in this programming language than, say, Unreal Engine. Well, that depends on how you use Unreal Engine. I am always very content with the visuals. It's a game and it gives great context without overdoing things. There isn't much to say. The 3D models are all very impressive, yet the game doesn't try to overly impress me. Like I said, its goal is just to give context. The aesthetic of Doom is mostly a space facility, where the look is inspired by popular movies and games like Dead Space. It's that hard-edged metal look we are all familiar with. This aesthetic works just fine. All Doom has to do is feel isolating. The empty facility works. The facility is on Mars, which is even more isolating. It reminds me of Total Recall, the original movie, the one starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. The orangeness of Mars does well to contrast with everything. You get to have a scene change later on in the game, in the demon realms, though I felt these levels felt a little loose. And in the final level, the arenas felt arcadey. The game was just not doing well to make me feel as though I was somewhere real. This has hard and heavy metal tunes, but it's mostly subtle and nuanced. It allows the player to have the correct emotions at the correct moments. The sound design in this game is on another level. I know sound design isn't easy to do. It's more of an art form. The audio kicks and the harmonics are evened out, because there's obviously been a ton of thought and care that went into this.
Our energy production is what you want, then you need only to destroy this.
There are really only 4 main voice actors in Doom 2016. Let's start with the coolest, Dr. Samuel Hayden, a once brilliant human scientist who was dying of cancer. So he transferred his brain into a robot's body. I could not work out if he was good or evil. He is one of those, but I will not say which. He has the coolest voice.
The service elevator is at the end of the hall.
It's hard to know what exactly is going on in the story, but it seems like Hayden went to hell to collect this box. It's like the box I woke up in the start of the game. My guess is he needed me for some reason. I'm not too sure why, but now I am running around helping him out. So I guess that must have been the plan. Vega. Vega is a HAL-like AI central unit. Vega gives the UAC facility a voice, like its Autobot city, turning this facility into a creature. Something that can communicate with you. It's all just another way to get me to walk around and pull levers.
This is my primary operating facility. It is where I was created and where my core processing unit is maintained. It takes approximately 2.4 terawatts of power to sustain my operational capabilities, but it has been decided that we can use that power to send you to the source of the port. I will not survive the procedure and am unable to self-terminate, so I will walk you through the process. All interior and exterior facility doors have been secured. You will need to begin by finding a way in and disabling the security systems.
Olivia Pierce. The weird science school that went crazy. Once a normal woman, she became obsessed in her work. I would say the demons got in her head, and now she has really just become a catalyst for the demons. She has been used to bridge Hell to Mars. She is creepy. Her character model is fantastic, and the voice actress does a great job here.
You could not have saved them anyway.
Her direction conflicts with Hayden's, and I found that story between the two was very interesting. It was relatable. Think of a workplace disagreement between a boss and a worker. We have all seen this before. Eventually she makes her move and commits treason.
I believe in our work, but in order to make progress, we will have to make even greater sacrifices.
This isn't progress, it's madness. The board understands the peculiar nature of your work, and no one is in the dark on what those sacrifices mean to mankind. But your judgment is no longer considered sound.
Harvest only the best of the best. Are you ready to move up? To take on new challenges? To become more than you ever dreamed you could be? Talk to your supervisor to see if you meet the requirements for this.
And finally, the info guy. This guy is a hologram and says a whole bunch of stuff to make you feel less alone and somehow more alone at the same time. Well, this is the 4th voice actor in the game. There's really not much to say. There's also this demon that speaks to you later on in the game, but I can't understand a word he is saying, so I'm just going to leave him out.
He found no peace, and with boiling blood, he scoured the umbral plains, seeking vengeance against the Dark Lords who had wronged him. He wore the crown of the Night Sentinels, and those that tasted the bite of his sword named him the Doomslayer.
The weapon mods are all very creative. My absolute favourite would have to be the rocket launcher's detonate mod. It's the first weapon I use until I feel guilty that maybe I am taking the easy route. The mod is almost a cheat code. See, I can detonate this missile while in mid-air, and I can further upgrade it to where the detonations do more damage when they are surrounding or next to one of the enemies, which means I can hit multiple enemies at once, heavily. It's great for this annoying flying enemy who teleports and is hard to hit directly. My second favourite would have to be the Gorse Cannon. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that properly. You can charge up the blast in a zoomed state and accurately destroy whatever is in front of you. It does massive damage. You can further upgrade this until you can move around more freely while charging. I will say this gun is mandatory with the boss at the end. Without it, I cannot see that encounter being possible. You also have this Predator suit you can upgrade. You get these points by finding dog tags from fallen elite guards. These guards all died in exactly the same way, where they must have fell over and landed as though they had the exact same death blow placed upon them. These dog tags convert to points that you can use to upgrade your Predator suit, similar to the weapon mods. They are more rare though, so choose carefully.
He cannot be allowed to leave this place. He would ruin everything.
I'm willing to take full responsibility for the horrible events of the last 24 hours, but you must understand. Our interest in their world was purely for the betterment of mankind. Everything has clearly gotten out of hand now, yes. But it was worth the risk, I assure you.
Now we're going to start playing the game on very hard. One of my favorite things about starting a game that I am familiar with is how I am now ready to slow down and look around. Finding all I can to improve my odds. The levels are very secretive. They are arenas connected via hallways. Level exploration is an integrated game loop. When you enter a level, you can switch to this 3D map, which reminds me of the one in Dead Space. You know, a lot about this game reminds me of Dead Space. The map starts off being very vague, to where you cannot see the level via the map. You first need to find this object. This object will unlock the entire map visually. This is the first step. Sometimes this map revealer is hidden. When I played through on easy, I didn't really know why I should care about this revealer. I never looked at the map. Why would I? Now when I see this thing, I get all excited. The map will show you where all the secrets are. That doesn't mean they are easy to find, mind you. What I really love about the game design in Doom is you get rewards that help strengthen your character, so there is an incentive to search for secrets and complete mini objectives. What I really like is once you have finished a level, you can go back and replay the level and complete what you missed. It all instantly gets carried over to your game's continuation. It's a solid and compliant system. You get weapon points for merely walking into a secret area, so the map becomes your best friend. It becomes quite fun and addictive trying to get to every area in the given level. The greyed out parts of the level are unexplored, so you have plenty of clues as to where you need to investigate. You can even get weapons early by searching rooms. Every level so far has had a classic secret area, an area that most just playing normally will never find. It's a nod to the older games where we have this door or wall that looks like it could be a part of the static texture assets. But you'll notice the map shows there is in fact a room in there. Generally there is a lever hiding somewhere close to this door. The lever is thin and hard to see. The lever opens up the door, and behind that door is a room that has graphics from the original game. I'm back to where I first failed, so I am a little nervous. Here we go. Easy. In fact, the whole game is feeling just as easy. By the Argent Tower, I am well into the groove of this game. It just keeps getting better and better. I am still not finding it too difficult. The training has really paid off. Doom has these compacted challenge rooms. You have to do a certain thing, complete an objective, and if you do, you get a rune that further enhances your play. These really aren't too challenging. They will take a few goes to complete, but nothing that will take you all day. Well, me anyway. I like the way rune challenges break up the game loop. The designers of Doom don't make them mandatory, so you could never slight them if you didn't like them. The hardest rune challenge though has to be Saving Throw. It gives a rune that allows the player to keep fighting once they die, and if they get a kill they can revive on the dropped health. This is similar to Borderlands' revive system. It took me a fair few goes to complete, though compared with Borderlands the rune doesn't feel very useful. It can only be used once per load, and I don't seem to have much success with it. Don't expect a Hollow Knight-like rune strategy in Doom. My guess is you will choose a rune layout and you will stick with it. The only place you should reconfigure is the boss battles, although there are not many of those. There are 12 of these chests in Doom, and these chests have Argent cells in them. These are the simplest upgrades. The most straightforward, they are passive. Sometimes it's nice to have a basic choice. You can choose between increasing your health, armor, or ammo. These are significant upgrades that really change the difficulty of the game. Doom has an extremely tough early game. I asked the question early in this game study, does Doom get harder as it goes, or does it get easier? To be honest, I still can't really answer that because of Nightmare Mode. But in regards to very hard or hard, yes it does get easier. The game is about glory kills. The runes and all the mods change the way the game works. You can get a whole bunch of health and armor after a glory kill. You can't get that at the start. So basically the game is just jumping from one enemy to the other. As the game progresses, it can become quite spammy. You could do a no upgrade run, but that's not the idea of the game. That's not the intended design.
They promised me so much.
Olivia Pierce becomes the final boss. She joins the evil, and now we are fighting this mother brain spider. This boss is tough. It is a good final boss. Nothing complex about it. The game loop stays the course. We don't have to be clever here. Just empty your tanks on it, and don't miss. One thing you can do to make your life easier is to use the BFG to stun her just before she is about to pull off an annoying move. Keep shooting the brain. The only 3 weapons you will need is the Gauss Cannon, Rocket Launcher, and BFG 9000. Everything else is kinda useless. After what feels like is hours, the boss dies and the game ends. So that's Doom done on hard mode. You know, Doom is a fairly stock game with insane combat. It does all the basic things well. Sound, music, visuals. The game is excellent. The story is interesting in places. It is well acted. The story, I guess, tries to distract the player from the loop, and as we found, it starts to fall apart by the end. But by the end, you are just keen to start the game again. Doom on the hardest mode is about the hardest challenge you can give yourself. I would need to put more time into the game to achieve it. I mean, not dying in a mode where almost one hit can kill you and everything moves at 100 miles per hour, that's hard, even for the well-trained. But there is no denying, Doom is a game that can live on in your head for years because you know it has something you cannot do. Thank you so much for watching. It has been an honor to be with you.